In every corner of the world, one uniform is instantly recognized: olive drab, American flag patch, boots in the dirt. The United States Army. For nearly a century, this force has shaped world history, from the beaches of Normandy to the deserts of Iraq, from jungle warfare to cyberspace dominance. It's not just the largest branch of the U.S. military. It's the backbone of global American power, the hammer in the hand that can project strength anywhere on Earth. But what makes it so dominant? Is it money, technology, training, or something deeper? A system built to never lose? Today we break it down. This is the story of how the U.S. Army became the world's most powerful land force, and why no other army has yet come close. Let's start with something simple: scale. The U.S. Army isn't just massive. It's a living organism stretching across every domain: land, air, space, and cyberspace, and every continent. Over 450,000 active duty soldiers, more than 300,000 reservists, and a global logistics chain that feeds, fuels, and arms them faster than any military in history. At its core lies an idea that wars are won not just by courage but by coordination. And coordination for the U.S. Army is everything. Every tank, every helicopter, every satellite feed connects to a web of systems designed for one purpose: total battlefield awareness. From a small outpost in Poland to a forward operating base in Kuwait, U.S. commanders can see in real time what's happening hundreds of miles away. That level of integration, called multi-domain operations, means the Army doesn't just fight battles. It engineers them. But before we dive into the high-tech side of dominance, let's pause for a moment. If you're enjoying this breakdown, the deep dive into military history, technology, and global strategy, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more detailed analyses on the world's most powerful militaries and the forces shaping our future. Your support helps us reach more people who love this kind of content, and it keeps documentaries like this going strong. Alright, back to the battlefield. The foundation of American dominance starts with training and doctrine. Every soldier who wears the uniform passes through one of the toughest, most methodical training systems on Earth. It's not just about firing rifles or marching in line. It's about thinking under pressure. The Army trains its people not to follow blindly, but to make decisions. From the first day of boot camp, soldiers are taught to adapt, to lead when orders are unclear, to act when communication fails. That doctrine, called Mission Command, allows small units to operate independently yet in harmony. It's a philosophy born from decades of combat. If you cut off an American platoon from command, it doesn't freeze, it fights. And that independence, multiplied by hundreds of thousands, becomes an unstoppable engine of initiative. The U.S. Army's leadership system is unique in how it grooms talent. Young officers rotate through logistics, combat, and command roles, building leaders who can run not just a squad, but an entire forward operating base. That's why, in conflicts from Afghanistan to the Sahel, American advisors can integrate with local armies seamlessly, because they understand both tactics and systems. The Army's structure itself reinforces this adaptability. Its modular brigades are self-contained fighting units, with their own artillery, intelligence, logistics, and medical support. They can deploy alone, operate autonomously, and survive without needing massive resupply. That modularity is what turned the U.S. Army into a force projection machine. In less than 96 hours, a brigade combat team can be on another continent, ready to fight. But behind every soldier stands a machine. Not of war, but of logistics. Logistics is the invisible force that makes American dominance real. You can't win wars without fuel, food, ammo, and spare parts. And the U.S. Army is the only one on Earth that can supply its troops anywhere at any time. During the Iraq War, American convoys carried over 3 million gallons of fuel per day to sustain armored thrusts across hundreds of miles of desert. That's not chance, it's infrastructure. Decades of building airlift capability through aircraft like the C-17 Globemaster III, maintaining vast prepositioned stockpiles on ships called Army prepositioned stocks, and operating over 1,200 military logistics bases around the world ensure one thing: when the U.S. Army decides to move, it doesn't wait. Other nations can field elite troops or advanced tanks, but they can't move them with the same speed, sustain them with the same efficiency, or replace them with the same predictability. That's what makes the Army not just powerful, but unstoppable. Let's talk about the tools, the iron backbone of American land warfare. The U.S. Army operates an arsenal designed to overwhelm in every domain. From the M1A2 Abrams tank with its depleted uranium armor and advanced thermal sights, to the Bradley fighting vehicle, a rolling command post that doubles as an infantry carrier and weapons platform, American armored forces dominate the ground with precision and endurance. Each tank operates as part of a larger network, sharing targeting data with drones, artillery, and air support through encrypted communications. When a target is spotted, the Army doesn't just shoot at it, it eliminates it through layered, coordinated fire. Artillery units employ GPS-guided Excalibur shells that can strike within meters from over 25 miles away. Rocket systems like HIMARS, now famous from their use in Ukraine, deliver pinpoint strikes at extended range, with precision that was once unthinkable. Even the humble infantryman is part of this ecosystem. Helmet-mounted optics, night vision, encrypted radios, and satellite-linked navigation ensure that every squad fights as part of a unified digital network. It's not the size of the force that matters, it's the synchronization. But the Army isn't standing still. The future battlefield is already being built, in labs, simulation centers, and digital command rooms. Enter the Army Futures Command, a massive modernization initiative launched to prepare for 2040 and beyond. Its mission is simple but transformative: connect every sensor to every shooter. That means that a drone's camera feed could guide artillery fire from miles away, a satellite signal could cue an autonomous tank, and an AI system could suggest firing solutions faster than a human could think. This is the Army's vision of Joint All-Domain Command and Control, or JDC2, a networked web that links space, air, land, cyber, and sea in real time. If it succeeds, it will redefine how wars are fought. And while the world often focuses on the flashy technology, stealth aircraft, advanced drones, or hypersonic missiles, the real advantage lies in how seamlessly the U.S. Army blends old and new. In Syria, armored convoys operate alongside autonomous surveillance drones. In the Pacific, the Army's multi-domain task forces are training to strike ships and missiles using land-based artillery guided by space-based sensors. It's a hybrid strategy, one that merges traditional warfare with digital precision. That adaptability is the hallmark of the U.S. Army. When other militaries try to imitate, they replicate the weapons, not the system. And the system is what wins wars. Let's step back and look at the evolution that made it possible. After the Cold War, the U.S. Army faced a paradox. It was the most powerful military in the world, but the enemy it had trained to fight, the Soviet Union, no longer existed. For years, it had prepared for massive tank battles across the Fulda Gap in Germany. Instead, it found itself fighting insurgencies in cities and mountains, places where tanks and artillery mattered less than intelligence and precision. That shift forced the Army to reinvent itself. It learned to fight hybrid wars, against enemies who hid among civilians, who used smartphones as weapons and propaganda as artillery. It built intelligence networks that connected soldiers on the ground with satellites in orbit. And in doing so, it created the most flexible army in modern history, capable of storming a beach one year and running counterterrorism raids the next. The cost was high, in lives and resources and in morale. But out of that crucible emerged an army that could adapt faster than any of its rivals. Every soldier who serves carries that legacy. They train not just for today's battles, but for tomorrow's unknowns. Urban warfare, drone swarms, cyber attacks. The Army prepares for them all. It's easy to look at its sheer power and assume it's unstoppable. But behind the technology lies something more human, a culture of constant learning. Every after-action review, every field manual, every lesson from combat zones gets absorbed, rewritten, and reissued across the entire organization. That process, institutional memory, ensures that mistakes are never wasted. It's why the U.S. Army evolves faster than others. It doesn't cling to victories. It studies failures. Now, dominance isn't just about firepower, it's about reach. The U.S. Army's global footprint is staggering. Bases and partnerships span more than 80 countries, from Germany to Japan, from Qatar to Djibouti. Every region has a rapid deployment unit ready to move within hours. This network is what gives Washington strategic leverage, the ability to respond to crises faster than any rival. An earthquake in Haiti, a missile strike in Poland, a coup in Africa. U.S. forces can mobilize humanitarian or combat assets before most countries finish their first briefing. That's power, not in destruction but in readiness. But for all its technological and logistical prowess, the Army's greatest weapon is still its people. The American soldier, often young, often far from home, embodies a paradox. They serve a global empire but believe in individual liberty. They fight foreign wars yet carry the conviction that peace is always the end goal. From World War II citizen soldiers to today's all-volunteer force, the Army has maintained one core strength: the ability to recruit, train, and lead at scale. Its education system rivals major universities, from West Point to the Army War College. Its professional development programs produce not just tacticians, but strategists, officers who understand history, politics, and economics as much as warfare. That human infrastructure, thinking soldiers, is what keeps the Army ahead of its adversaries. Now let's talk about technology on the horizon. The Army's modernization drive includes 6 priorities known as the Big 6+1. Long-range precision fires, artillery and missiles that can strike hundreds of miles away. Next-generation combat vehicles, lightweight, autonomous, and smarter than ever. Future vertical lift, new helicopters and tilt rotors to replace the Black Hawk and Apache. Network modernization, faster, more secure communications across every platform. Air and missile defense, systems to intercept hypersonic threats and drone swarms. Soldier lethality, new rifles, optics and body armor for the individual warrior. And the +1? Artificial intelligence, the brain connecting them all. Through initiatives like Project Maven, the Army is integrating AI to identify targets, optimize logistics, and even assist in decision-making. The future battlefield will be one where data decides before humans can, and the US Army is building that capability now. Still, dominance comes with pressure. Maintaining such a massive global presence is expensive and politically complicated. The Army's budget, exceeding $180 billion per year, faces scrutiny from Congress and criticism abroad. Adversaries, from China to Russia, study its every move, looking for weaknesses in doctrine, overdependence on satellites, or reliance on expensive equipment. But the Army's advantage lies in its ability to evolve faster than it erodes. While others are still building, it's already testing. While rivals adapt, the US Army innovates. That's what dominance looks like, not perfection but progress at speed. Pause, music shifts to a hopeful, steady rhythm. And when crises erupt, whether in Europe, the Middle East, or the Pacific, the first boots on the ground are almost always American. In Poland, soldiers strengthen NATO's eastern flank. In Africa, they train local forces against insurgencies. In the Indo-Pacific, they prepare for high-tech conflict where cyber meets space. Everywhere they go, the message is the same. The US Army is not just defending America, it's shaping the world order. That doesn't mean it's invincible. Wars in Iraq and Afghanistan revealed limits of occupation, of endurance, of public will. But they also revealed something more enduring, a military that can adapt faster than it fails. Because in the end, dominance isn't about never being challenged. It's about never staying defeated. So what keeps it all together? It's not one weapon or one doctrine. It's a philosophy that the Army exists not only to fight, but to prepare for whatever comes next. Every generation rewrites its manuals, redesigns its vehicles, reimagines its threats. From the jungles of Vietnam to the streets of Baghdad to the digital frontiers of cyber war, the US Army keeps moving forward, relentless, analytical. The world changes. The enemy changes. The mission remains the same: defend, deter, and dominate. The US Army is more than a fighting force. It's a system, a network of people, machines, and ideas built to outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast. From its command centers buried beneath the earth to its satellites high above it, the Army's reach spans the globe, a constant presence in an age of uncertainty. As new rivals rise and new technologies emerge, one truth endures. The US Army is not just preparing for the wars of tomorrow. It's defining them. Because dominance isn't about power alone. It's about the will to lead, and the readiness to act when others hesitate. This is the story of the US Army, unmatched, unrelenting, and always one step ahead.